Professor Gerritsen, over to you.
Thank you so much, Radhika. And I would want to say hola a todos. No hablo español muy bien, poco. So, hablo inglés ahora. But muchas gracias por invitarme, Adriana and Radhika.
Un placer.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful thing to be here. I will tell you a little bit about the work that we're doing at Women in Data Science worldwide, and our hopes for the future, and all the wonderful activities that women and men from all over the world have within our organization and with sister and other organizations. And a little bit about the work that I've done in the past on sustainability and energy, and how it really all comes together now, which I'm just incredibly excited about. But it's truly a privilege and an honor to be here today. If it works out, I'd like to share just a couple of slides. So I see the green share screen, so I think this is going to work. That would be wonderful. Can you see this okay? Yeah, excellent. Let me first tell you a little bit about Women in Data Science Worldwide. That's the organization that I am running now. We started this in 2015 at Stanford campus, and the real reason at that time was that despite the fact that I've been in data science and in STEM for many years, we've just seen so few changes in the representation of women in the field. And it's not just the representation in percentages, we're between 5 and 25%, depending on where you are and what kind of activities you're doing in data or data science or AI. But it's also that the women that are in the field are not as visible and don't have as much agency as a lot of other contributors in this space. We started it as a conference to highlight the work done by outstanding women. We wanted to put women on the podium and raise their and amplify their voices. And now we are this global organization. So our mission really is to elevate and empower women and give them agency, which is really important to us, and amplify the local voices. I spent 30 years or so in Silicon Valley. And Stanford and Silicon Valley are great, but they're not the world, and they don't always know what's best for people elsewhere. And it's so incredibly important for people to have regional and local agency. And I believed in that for a very long time. Worked in energy and sustainability issues as well, where the emphasis really was on local empowerment. And Bill put the urgency for that also so eloquently. Ultimately, we'd like with our work to increase the representation of women, and we have a little data mission. We like data, of course, and so we put some numbers on, and we talk about 30 by 30, increasing representation of women across the board to 30% by 2030. Our programming is by women. It really is also for everyone, and it is at no cost. So I invite all of you to check us out and join us. This is our website, WorldwideStanford.org, and I refer to it as a community of trust where we all work together on many different goals and this wonderful mission that we have. We are certainly also in Latin America, and I wanted to just show you a couple of maps here that tell you, where we are and what we do. We started at this one conference, and now we have 200 events around the world. These are organized by people locally, and everyone is welcome. As you can see, we have conferences in many places in Latin America. Very happy to see some first conferences in Bolivia, for example, in Uruguay this year. We're in Brazil, Peru, Chile, Ecuador, Colombia. We're in Panama, Costa Rica, Mexico, Guatemala. And we'd love to work with people and all of you on events. We organize, apart from conferences, also upskilling workshops to help people enter this field, to help people thrive in this field. And get connected with each other worldwide. We have datathons that we're running and other educational programming. And we put more and more emphasis on secondary school education and reaching women early on in their career and help them enter this field. So that gives you a little bit of a sense of where we are and what we do. And again, I'd love to connect with you on this. But let me talk to you a little bit also about the work that we've done on energy and sustainability. And we all know the urgency and that it is so incredibly important for us to think about this and to think about this regionally and locally and to think about this together. I always tell my students, though, when I talk about sustainability and energy, that we have seen changes in the way that we talk about it. And I'm a collector of what I call unfortunate advertisements from the past. And this is one that really struck me when I first found this. This is an advertisement that was put up in the 60s and early 70s by an energy company that very proudly advertised their prowess in melting glaciers very fast. So now we would not see that today. And over my career in 40 years in this field of energy and sustainability, I have seen a big change in awareness of the climate crisis and now also increasingly a change from fossil fuels to renewable energy. I'm very optimistic when I look at the new generation coming in and I look at the passion they have on this and their strong desire to walk the talk and really make an impact. Am I an internal optimist? Perhaps you also have to be, I think. We have to believe that we can change and that we can do this when we act in good faith and we act together. In my career, I've been incredibly blessed to work with people from around the world. And I spent 5 years in New Zealand, also working and then later working with First Nations on energy solutions and sustainability solutions, often local. And I want to share with you something that I learned while in New Zealand working with some very good Maori friends. And they always talk about this expression, te ao tanganui, which to me means working in harmony with nature and not with nature and our planet and climate as an afterthought. So really being very strongly connected to this. And we heard this earlier from Radhika, and we heard this earlier from Bill. So that's a common theme, and I just love this this expression. So for many years, I worked in sustainability and energy and trying to find ways to power the world sustainably, educating students in this and also working on energy projects for it. I started my career in energy and I've been in that field for around 25 years now, really working on reducing harmful impacts of oil and gas exploration and production. And then ended up really working a lot in collaboration with other people on finding local and renewable energy solutions. So there are two things that have always been my drivers in the work that I do. One is that energy provision and balance is really a global issue, that we cannot talk about sustainable energy if it means exploiting other countries. So let me tell you a little bit about it. In the last couple of decades, we have seen over time solutions brought up that may have sounded fantastic in particular regions, so like the European Union or the United States. But when you looked at the implications of those solutions on the rest of the world, they were really all about exploiting other countries. One really great example of that, and a very unfortunate thing, is when the European Union so many years ago mandated that 15% of energy would come from liquid fuels, from renewable energy sources. And they ended up, because the European Union, I'm Dutch myself, so I'm allowed, I think, to criticize the EU as much as I want. But the EU realized after they passed this that there really wasn't enough in the regions to meet that 15% mandate, and they ended up using palm oil a lot. So they ended up importing palm oil, and that really meant that the palm oil production, which led to the destruction of a lot of tropical forests, to replace these tropical forests with palm oil plantation. Palm oil production went up big time to meet that seemingly very interesting and green goal of 15% liquid fuels from biofuels. And ultimately, it did more harm than good. And that was a prime example of something that was done in a region without thinking about the implication it had for other countries. So we have to be so careful with this and think through decisions that we're making wherever we are, and make sure that they don't have unintended and harmful consequences for other areas. And so this has been part of my work and the work of my colleagues as well. The other thing is that it's so incredibly important to think about sustainability energy locally, because it's very difficult to design anything that is truly sustainable if it's not tailored to the region and if agency is not given locally. I've seen so many examples of people going into, say, island communities or countries in Africa or Southeast Asia or anywhere in the global South that come up with Western solutions that are really not great, and they're also not benefiting the local populations where decision power and also the benefits, financial benefits and other benefits of energy solutions do not stay in the region itself, but are taken away to, for example, the United States of Europe. So in my work, I've been driven by these two thoughts very much so, and I'm very, very interested in talking to anyone on this call who are looking for energy solutions or other sustainability solutions locally. I think it's really important to provide this agency. So here WiDS also comes in, right? So with WiDS, with WiDS Worldwide, Women in Data Science Worldwide, we're also all about giving agency to people locally, and that absolutely, definitely includes women. So it all is coming together for me now in my career, which is really interesting. So after spending a lot of time thinking about energy and sustainability solutions, and then building this community of trust with women from all around the world, and now joining Radhika and others in this wonderful new sustainability solutions lab, to me, this all comes together, and I'm so very excited to be part of this. And what I wanted to share with you is that with WiDS Worldwide, we are taking a next step in this too, and we're looking for collaborators on this. You know, with WiDS, we build a community, we're amplifying voices, we're putting people on stage, we have these podia, we're organizing programming to help women everywhere and also men in education, in seeking opportunities. But we have this incredible community now that's pulled together, these thousands and thousands of women from all over the world, and they have a tremendous brain power. So our next step with WiDS is to harness the power of all those women, not just to support them, to amplify their voices, but to bring them together in innovation collaborative, because I feel that together, all this wonderful talent, this women's talent around the world, if we can bring them together in innovation collaborative, where we all together with people from all over the world sharing best practices, listening to each other, sharing insights, and working towards a common goal, we can really achieve something. So we're building WiDS Worldwide Innovation Collaborative on sustainability, where our dream is to work with teams of women from all around the world on this together. So I wanted to invite you to join us and to reach out to me. Here is my email as well. Would love to hear from you. And you also see my my LinkedIn tag here, and please connect on LinkedIn too. And I'm looking forward to working with all of you.
Thank you, Margot. So interesting what you are sharing, and so near to our work at Hecho por Nosotros, ¿no? How we can talk about sustainability if we do not talk about local resources, local people. Yes, where biodiversity, ecosystem, the biggest amount of people on Earth are there. And we have a system talking about sustainability now, this greenwashing machine that if we go to the fashion industry, an industry that brings all of us together and women as a main actor, we can see how far we are of creating solutions at the grassroots, no? So important, everything you are commenting. So happy to listen all your work. Big congratulations, and very welcome to collaborate on these tools that we can bring to local women. No, when we go down at the base of the platform, more and more women are leading their families, communities, and they lack tools in order to care about better use of energy, of resources, and to potentiate all the lab energy, capacity, creativity, intelligence they have, no? So important. At Hecho por Nosotros, we created this university that I will be presenting, where we can talk about being like expanding local solutions for energy as well. How do you find this bridge among the grassroots and the work you are doing? Because many times is this the difficulty that we have in our system and in the solutions that are there? I think we can have the world we want. We have everything, no? But this bridge among the grassroots, among people that are far from our system, many times is difficult to transit. Can you tell just 1 minute about this? Your opinion?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It takes time. We've in all the work that we've done on sustainability and energy, and now also with WiDS, it takes us some time to build these local networks and local communities. With which we work with a distributed model. So we have people on the ground, you know, in these countries that become our change agents, if you like. They are owners of WiDS locally. And we work with them, we talk to them very often. So we have monthly meetups with these women and men who are our ambassadors, as we call it, in all those regions, to check in with them and do what we can centrally to support their mission. But the main thing for us has been, the main ticket is to really give agency and ownership to people locally. So we tell people they can organize the events that they think are most impactful, invite their own people, you know, raise their local voices, and really they become sort of their own WiDS on the ground. And then what you see is that over time they develop their own networks, right, and bring people together. And sometimes they can go very fast, and sometimes that's a little slower. But we've seen some incredible work by women in these regions to create those networks themselves, and then help support these local people in their mission. With previous work on energy and sustainability, we worked a lot through universities, so I've been at universities for a long time, and there is a wonderful network of academics that then have their own local connections, and so that has given us access to island communities. For example, I worked for a while on the big island of Hawaii on solutions. We worked in Samoa. We worked on islands in Alaska and in other areas of the world. And that usually goes through local colleges and universities. And so we reach out to them and work together with them.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is the system change that we need to transit, how we reconnect with local wisdom, with all these biodiversity, nature, opportunities that lies at the grassroots, that lies in these places full of abundance, how we rethink poverty.